my name is Miss Dairotislope Blessing. I'm a tech-savvy 21st century educator. So I'm a classroom teacher to lower elementary. So I teach mathematics, English, science, and ICT. So I'm an SDG4 advocate. I'm very passionate about quality education because I believe every child has a right to the best of education. So most especially, I like working with children with certain learning difficulties, helping them read, helping them spell, and things like that. I'm also a content creator. I upload posts on my blog where teachers go to and they can help themselves. They can find something useful to use in their classroom, or an answer to something they've been dealing with. And I'm also an author. I authored the book last year on different teaching strategies that teachers can use in the classroom to get the best from their children. Thank you.
Wow, what an achievement as an educator. And you have just briefed us about the various fields of education. So, being an educator, author, and so many jobs you are doing, being an young teacher. So, I have seen some of your videos. They are so interesting and very useful to the teachers, especially the mathematics
Thank
teachers.
you.
Ah,
Thank you.
so I have a bundle of questions to put forward, but before that, I would like to allow my students to ask you some questions.
Okay.
Yes, and Husniya, go ahead and ask the first question.
Yes, sir. Hi, ma'am. My name is Jessica. I am studying class 6. My hobbies are reading books and what skills are to be taught to the students in this 21st century?
Okay, one of the skills that should be taught to children is critical thinking. So we live in a society where every day you have to come up with solutions for things. People are inventing things. Now we are in the age of technology where there are different devices you have to make use of, and we find out that some children they find it difficult adapting to the new way of life. So one of the skills that should be taught in schools is critical thinking. So children should be allowed to think beyond the classroom, school discussions, taking them outside to see the real world and having a discussion about whatever it is they're saying. Give problems, asking them things, have preferred this to be done, asking them questions and listening to them give solutions to these issues, listening to them discuss, put them in groups, have them discuss as a team, and come up with something tangible, something to give out. So critical thinking is one skill that should be taught in the classroom. Another skill that should be taught in the classroom is creativity. Creativity should be taught in the classroom. So children should be told that there is no one way path to doing things. As an individual, you need to be creative. When you're creative, it helps you stand out. Wherever you find yourself, creativity is what helps you stand out. So creativity should be taught, art and craft, craft making, learning how to do things with your hands. So these things should be taught in the classroom. Now, since we are in the age of technology, another vital skill that should be taught in the classroom is the use of ICT. It's ICT, the use of devices, the use of devices, how to operate a phone, how to operate a computer, how to work on Microsoft Word. So these are skills that every child, no matter the age you are, children should be taught to operate a laptop, children should be taught to operate a computer, because now we are in the age of technology. Almost everything you have to do, you do with your phone or you do with your laptop. Like now we are having a conversation, and this is technology. So children should be taught technology even right from the foundational stage. Then another skill children should learn is communication. Communication. So we find that we have adults that find it difficult to have conversations. to have meaningful conversations with each other. So children should be taught how to communicate, the formal way of communicating, the informal way of communicating. When you find yourself in a gathering, what are the things you should say? Or when you find yourself among friends, what are the things you should say? So these are some of the skills that are very, very essential that should be taught in the classroom. Thank you.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
My name is Geeta Saiti. I'm studying class 6. My hobbies are reading books and playing games. I want to ask you one question, ma'am.
Okay.
What qualities are required to become a model teacher?
Okay, what are the qualities you need to become a model teacher? Okay, so
Yes,
thank you
ma'am.
for the question. Thank you for the question. And I so love your hobbies. Well done. So one of the qualities of a model teacher is the passion. The passion. So as a teacher, you have to have passion for teaching. Now, the thing is, teaching sometimes can be stressful. You know, teaching sometimes can be stressful. In the classroom, you have different students in the classroom, and you know, you have to teach each one of them based on their best way of learning. So, as a teacher, sometimes you'll feel discouraged, sometimes you'll feel sad, and maybe you'd feel like you don't want to teach anymore. But when you have that passion, when you have that love for teaching, you would want to continue teaching. So the next day, you're already carrying your bag and you're going to school and you're happy once again to be in the classroom. Now, another qualities of a good teacher is communication. So as a teacher, communication is very important. So you must learn how to communicate with your students. You know, different people. We all have a level of of understanding. So you must know how to communicate to each child's understanding. So when you're speaking to child A, how am I going to talk to child A for child A to understand what I'm saying? How am I going to speak to child B for child B to understand what I'm saying? So as teachers, you must be very good in your communication. Then we also have creativity. Now, some students find learning boring. Some students will tell you, I don't love school. I don't love going to school. I don't love learning. I don't want to go to school. So, as a teacher, you should be creative in the way you handle your classes. I'm very sure if you have a teacher that comes to the classroom and she's showing you pictures, she's showing you videos, or she's asking you to create a particular artwork, or she's asking you to act a drama, you would love school. You want to go to school every day, and that is creativity. So as teachers, you should be creative. Also, another quality of a model teacher is empathy. Empathy. Now, children come from
Yes, ma'am.
different homes. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so empathy. Now, children come from different homes. I remember the time I was playing in class, and I just noticed this child was not smiling. So the child was not smiling, and I asked him, why are you not smiling? And he said, I have not eaten this morning. So he has not eaten that morning, and he was in school. So as teachers, you need to have empathy. Children go through different things. Some children don't eat to school. Some children, they go home and they don't have enough to eat. And all these things affect their academic performance in the classroom. So you should have empathy. Try to find out what is happening at home. Try to find out if there is a way you can assist that child to do better. So these are just some. We have a long list of qualities that a model teacher should have. So, but these are just some. We have motivation. Children like to be motivated. They love to be told, oh, you're doing well, you're doing great, you're smart, you're amazing, you're excellent. I'm sure you love that too. You love to be motivated, right? Do you love to be motivated?
Yes, they
Yes,
are
ma'am.
like
Okay, so that is one quality every teacher should have. You should learn how to motivate, even down to that child you think is not doing well, down to that child you think is not really good. You should learn how to motivate the child and encourage them. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah,
You're
that's
welcome.
really very impressive response. I think you proved that you are really a great model teacher from Nigeria. So
Thank you.
yeah, so Sindhuja, it's your turn now.
Yes, sir. Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
My name is Sindhuja. I am studying class 6. My hobbies are reading books, playing games. My future ambition is to become an IAS officer. Can I ask one question, ma'am?
Okay, sure, you can ask me a question. Thank you.
Who inspired you to become an educator?
Okay, who inspired me to become educated? Okay, now this is it. We live in a world where education is very important. We live in a world where you want to do something and everybody is asking you, which school did you go to? Now, education is beyond the four walls of the classroom. So education is not just you going to school and copying notes. Education is you actually knowing what is being taught in the classroom. Education is you going home and remembering what your teacher said. So I understood that in this world, you need an education. If you want to become an accountant, if you want to become a pilot, if you want to become an engineer, even if you want to create games, you want to, not whatever you want to do in life, you need an education. Without an education, you'll be sidelined. People just leave you out of whatever it is they're doing because they believe you don't reason like them, you're not educated. So I think that was what inspired me to be educated. You know, I want to be someone great in life and I want to also inspire people. So I want to be able to tell you that it is very important to go to school. So that is what inspired me to be educated. Thank you.
Are the 5 main goals of education in Nigeria?
Okay, what are the what are the goals of education in Nigeria? Now, one of the goals of education in Nigeria is a democratic society. So we want, sorry, please. So one of the goals of education in Nigeria is a democratic society, a society where your rights are being respected. So, and that's why we have education. You know, for you to, for your right to be respected, or for you to know that your rights are being respected, you have to know what those rights are. And when you educate, you get to know what those rights are. So that is one of the goals of education in Nigeria, for every citizen to live in a democratic society. And also one of the roles of education in Nigeria is for us to have a self-reliant system. So when we say a self-reliant system, we are talking about a system where you have all what you need to grow. So you're not always importing from other countries. You're not always bringing in things from other countries. You have educated individuals that have set up businesses in your country and they can produce what they need in your country. So you don't always need to import something. In your countries, you have people that have factories that can make things that you need. So that is one of the goals in Nigeria, for us to have a self-reliant system. Another goal of education in Nigeria is to create a world full of bright opportunities. Now, most times we see that when individuals are done with school, when they graduate from school, or you'll find out that there is no job. So they don't have a job to do, and you just see that they are at home, they are not working, and before you know, they are trying to steal or they are trying to go into illegal acts. So that's one of the goals of education. They want to train people, educate people so that there are lots of opportunities. For example, if I get educated and I have a company, surely I would need people to work for me. So that is me creating opportunities for other people. So that are some of the goals of education in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing the great goals of Nigeria.
Thank
Deshnab
you.
Likita. Deshnab Likita.
Yes, sir. My name is Jeshna Likita. I am studying class 6. My hobbies are reading books, playing games. My future ambition is to become a doctor. Can I ask one question, ma'am?
You're welcome.
How often do you attend the training sessions meant for teachers to update their skills?
Okay, so how often do I attend trainings? Now, let me tell you, I love trainings a lot. I love trainings a lot. I forgot to mention one of the qualities of a model teacher is you should be teachable. So I don't know it all. And that's why every time I have to read, I have to apply for online courses or I have to go for physical seminars just because I want to learn. So how often do I attend these trainings? All the time, all the time. I just have one I registered for this morning because as a teacher, I don't want to be left behind. Educate if information is being renewed daily, what you know today might be something new the next day. And if you tell yourself, oh, I know enough, you just find out that the next day the information that is spreading out, you're not aware. So as a teacher, you have to go for trainings all the time. Meet with other teachers, get to know what is working for them, and even read books. You can read books, even watching movies. I know most of us love movies. So even from movies, you can learn. From movies, you can learn as a teacher. You can gain information from movies, from books, from seminars, from online courses. So I do all this often to update myself. Thank you. Hello.
I'm studying 7th grade. Maps are reading books, playing games, and watching TV. My future ambition is to become a police officer. I want to ask you a question. Can I ask?
Sure, you can. You're welcome.
Does Nigeria provide free education to students?
Okay. Does my government provide free education for students? Yes, my government does provide free education for students. And let me tell you something really interesting. I also am a product of free education in my country. So I attended a government school. So I didn't have to pay school fees. I attended the school for free. I got books. So yes, my government make provision for free education. And even at the university level, we have subsidized education. So you don't have to pay the normal fee everyone is paying. No, the government pays part and you're just paying a little part. Then maybe when you want to take exams, maybe if there are certain exams that the fee is not covered, then you have to pay. But yes, my government does have free education for its citizens. Thank you.
Do you agree the fact that lack of proper infrastructure at school prevent a passionate teacher from teaching his students effectively?
Oh, do I agree that poor infrastructure affects the way teachers teach in the classroom? Yes. Thank you once again for that question. I love your question. So yes, I agree that poor infrastructure affects the passion of teachers, affect the way teachers go about their teaching. Now, teaching is very smooth when you have all the resources in the classroom. But if we are to tell ourselves the truth, you can't have everything in the classroom. Now, imagine you're teaching in a rural community where the children, the parents of the children are poor, they don't have money, they can't afford certain things, and you're the teacher, you have to teach in that kind of classroom. Definitely, it might affect your work. Now, I have taught in a rural community before, and yes, sometimes it affected my work, and that is where you need passion. That is where you need passion. So I have been in situations where I have to use my money to buy things I believe my children would find useful. And then there is something we call improvisation. There's something we call improvisation. Like I said, you can't have everything you need. And if you should allow that discourage you, every day you will keep getting discouraged. So that is why every teacher should learn improvisation. So definitely you might not have everything you need, but just with the little you have to make use of it and try to be happy. Like I said, you might be discouraged, sometimes you might feel sad, but you just have to find something to encourage you. You just have to find something to make you happy, because every child needs you. Every child needs you. Every child is looking up to you as a teacher to give them the best of education. So you just have to be encouraged. You just have to be happy. Thank you.
Sir.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. My name is Mamata. I am studying class 6th. My hobbies are reading books and playing. Can I ask one question, ma'am?
Sure, you can ask me a question.
Your achievements as a teacher.
What has been my greatest achievement? My greatest achievement. I have a whole lot. But let me start with this. Now, one of my greatest achievements in the classroom is seeing that I teach something and my students understand. Now, let me tell you, there is no greater joy. There is no greater joy than you as a teacher seeing that your students actually understand what you are teaching. Just recently, I asked one of my students to read, and she was blending, she was calling the sound, and I was so excited because when we resumed, she couldn't read. When we resumed, she couldn't read, and it was a very long process of getting her to know her sounds, of getting her to blend. And yesterday I was like, "Can you read this for me?" And she read it. So that is one great achievement. I was so excited. So one of my greatest achievements as a teacher is seeing that I come to the classroom, I teach, and my students actually understand, and maybe I'm assessing them or evaluating them, and they're passing their assessment. So that is one of my greatest achievements. Another of my achievements is seeing that I inspire people. Most people believe that teaching is a very difficult profession, that teaching is not rewarding. I know I go on social media and I share my story, I share my classroom stories, and people look up to me that, oh, if she can do this, definitely teaching is something I should try. So those are one of my greatest achievements in this profession. Thank you.
Can you share some of your teaching aids that you use to teach the different subjects? Because you have been an elementary school teacher, so you are required to teach many subjects at the same time, not just mathematics. You are required to teach all the subjects. So how do you manage all the subjects, and what are the teaching aids that you use to teach different subjects effectively?
Okay, so being a class teacher has not been easy. but it has been exciting all the way. Now, as a mathematics teacher, you just have to have knowledge of mathematics alone. But when you're a class teacher, you have to know everything. You have to know mathematics, you have to know science, you have to know quantitative, verbal, you have to know everything. And you have to be prepared for whatever question it is that is going to be asked in the classroom. So some days it has not been easy, but it has been exciting. It has been exciting all through. And going by the different strategies I apply in my classroom, it has been rewarding for me. Now, one of the strategies I use in the classroom is hands-on activities. Now, I realized that when your classroom is teacher-centered, the children are left out of the learning. When you're just the one doing all the talking, doing all the explanation, and the children are just looking at you and they're bored. But the moment you get them involved in their learning, learning becomes fun. So what we do these days is we have practicals, we have projects. So once the child hears, oh, in our next class, we are going to be making this, they're already excited. They can't wait for the next class. And the moment they come to school, they're reminding you, oh, you're having this subject, you're teaching us this, just because they understand that that classroom is going to be child-centered. So you're not just going to be the one doing the talking. They are going to have something to do, and such it encourages learning. You find that when you ask them questions, it becomes very easy for them to give answers because they understand they were part of the learning process. Another strategy I implemented is outdoor learning. Outdoor learning. Now, I, as a teacher, sometimes I get tired of seeing the four walls of the classroom. Monday, you're seeing the classroom. Tuesday, you're seeing the classroom. So sometimes I get bored. So what we do is we take our learning outside. We take our learning outside. So we go outside, we sit down, and we are learning outside. Now, for the fact that they are outside, they are very active. They're active. They are not sitting on their chairs. They can move about, so they are very active. And once a child is active, learning takes place. It becomes very easy for that child to learn. Another strategy I implemented is making use of objects that the child finds fascinating. Now, in one of my classes, we make use of pizza. I used a pizza to teach mathematics. And let me tell you, when I brought the pizza to the class, they were like, whoa, Miss Dairo, you bought a pizza. What do you want to do with the pizza? And they were really excited. They want to know, what is Miss Dairo going to do with what she bought today? And the moment you've brought in a child in that mood, whatever it is you're saying, it sticks. So they're seeing a pizza, they're working in a pizza, they all love pizza, they all want to eat pizza. So because of that, whatever it is you're teaching, they find it easy to understand. The moment they see a pizza, even when they get home and they see a pizza, they remember, oh, we learned fraction in class. They learned fraction in class, and they're looking at the pizza and they're able to recall what it is they learned in the classroom. Another strategy that I find very effective is drama, using drama in the classroom. Now, most of all these strategies, why most teachers leave out these strategies is because they find it time consuming. Some teachers will tell you, if we have to act a drama, there'll be no time to copy the notes, there'll be no time to explain and all that. Now, these strategies are not something you have to stick with one. If you are showing pictures in the classroom, it is not time consuming. And it's also a very good strategy. And one thing teachers don't know about the strategies, imagine if you have to explain for 40 minutes and the child find that class boring. Surely the child is not learning anything. But imagine if you have to play a video for 20 minutes, and just with that 20 minutes, the child has learned whatever it is you would have said in 40 minutes. Now, which is better? So using strategies, implementing these strategies in the classroom, making use of drama, making use of songs, making use of artworks, videos, pictures. It helps in the classroom. It helps to make learning fun. You won't see a child that would say, oh, I don't like coming to class. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to learn. They know that your classes are always interesting. Your classes are always fun. So they want to come to school. So it aids learning. It helps these children improve academically. Thank you.
Miss Nairo, I think we have 20, 20 seconds, like
Okay.
20 seconds and 1 minute left in this session. So
Okay.
would you mind sharing any other teaching aids or tips to my students? Because we can try again another free version just for another 15 minutes time.
Okay.
So that
Okay.
you can share some of the important and very interesting and valuable suggestions
Okay.
as a teacher to me and as a student. Uh,
Okay.
shall we reconnect again one more time?
Okay. No. Surely. Surely.
So students, you are requested to reconnect again once I end this session. Reconnect so that we can continue for a little more time, so that we can enjoy the guidance of the great teacher from Nigeria.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank.
What are the languages that are spoken in your region? Your English is so fluent. English is your mother tongue.
Okay, so English is our official language. English is our official language, and we have other languages. We have the Yoruba language, we have the Igbo language, we have the Hausa language, and that's not all. I think we have over 250 ethnic groups in Nigeria, and for each of these groups, they have their languages. They have their languages. But for all of us, English is our official language.
Would you mind showing any teaching aids that you use in the class in your regular classroom, so that educators from my region and so myself as a teacher can imitate or can be inspired by your teaching aids that you use in your classroom regularly to teach different subjects?
Okay, okay. Uh, okay, so one of the teaching aids I use. Now let me start with the student, which is something I encourage my students to do. Now you would realize that after you've learned something and you've explained it to somebody, you get to understand what you've learned better. So as students, if there's one thing that can improve your academic performance is by you acting as a teacher to one of your friends. So whatever it is you've learned in the classroom, you're calling one of your friends or you're calling all your classmates and you're explaining it to them again. So when you have to explain it again, you find it that you would really understand whatever it is you have been taught. Another learning aid I use in the classroom are online platforms. So I make use of online platforms. Like I said, we are in the age of technology. We're in the age of technology. So there are various learning sites on the internet. And one fascinating, one interesting one interesting aspect of it is they made it really engaging because they understand that children of nowadays have short attention span. So we have games on the internet that are really, really fun to play. You answer the question, the questions are really fun to answer, but you are learning. So that is one of the learning aids I use. And I also go by play-based learning. Play-based learning. Now, children love playing. So imagine when they are learning and still playing. So it makes the learning effective. So I try to, for some of my subjects, definitely not all, for some of my subjects, I try to inculcate play. For example, we have cultural and creative arts. And I have to teach them colors and mixture of colors. So we are playing with different colors, we are mixing them, and we are getting to see how they form. another color. So these strategies are strategies that help children improve their performance. And another learning aid to use. Now, one thing about learning aid is you don't have to buy something really expensive. With what you have around you, it's already a learning aid. So another learning aid I use in the classroom as presentations. Presentation. So presentation is a great learning aid. So you've taught something in the classroom, or you are about to teach something in the classroom, and you're telling the children that they are going to have a presentation the next day. So definitely that child who wants to present has to read. And one thing about children is they love it when they do something and you're really excited and you're praising them. Now, let's say there's a child that decided not to read. The next day, they're coming out for the presentation and you're going, oh, wow, that was great, that was excellent. Definitely, the child who did not perform well would also want to be encouraged the next time. So he or she will go back home and will try reading. Now, since I work with young learners, one of the learning aids I use is I have these stickers. I have the stickers. Let me see if I can get one now. Let me pause this and get one. So I don't know if you can see this. So these are stickers I use in the classroom. So when I finish marking a child's note, I'm putting one of these stickers, and they love seeing it on their note. So just because they want to see it on their note, they want to perform well. They want to listen to what you say. They want to get good grades just so they can get this. So I can tell them, okay, I want you to all to go home and read. And the next day, if I ask you questions and you can get my questions, I'm going to give you a sticker. And because they all want a sticker on their notebooks, they go home and they read. Something else I tried in the classroom, which really worked, which will be very useful for teachers, is leadership positions. Children love leadership positions. So if you are in a classroom, you don't have a permanent class captain. So you tell them every week we are going to have a new class captain. And there's one mistake teachers make, which I would love to correct now. Do not limit it to just academic performance. Now, no matter how good you are as a teacher, there are some children that will not be as good as their peers. Now, imagine if you're just motivating the good ones, you're just giving the word to the good ones. What happened to those ones that are struggling? They see it as you don't like them. They see it as they are not doing enough, and before you know it, they won't want to come to school anymore. So what I do is I try to find out other areas that child is good at. Now, a child who is not doing well academically might be very friendly. That child might be very friendly. So sometimes I would say, okay, let's appreciate child A. He's very friendly. He loves making friends. Or that child might be very neat. So even if that child is not good academically, try to find an aspect that he or she is good at. And one thing I also realize is the moment a child sees you appreciating him for something, maybe you're appreciating him for being neat, he would even want to listen to what you say. He will want to do what you're asking him to do. And the moment you get that child there, you find out that there are improvements in the child's work. So those are the, and don't worry, I would send you my book. I would send you my book. So we have lots of them there. We have lots of them there. So thank you.
So it looks like that you have made a thorough research in the area of children learning. You have a depth analysis. That means you must have had a great analysis.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for sharing very valuable information. So one more
Thank you so
question I
much for
would like
having
to
me.
ask you before end this session. Um, So to make your students learn the English language, especially English, for us it's a third language. So we speak regional language, national language, and third one is international language, English. So to make my students speak English, I have to do many innovative things in order to in order to create my classroom so interesting. Otherwise, I can't create the interesting environment in my classroom. So I have to do a lot of things. So being a primary teacher, and what kind of skills you would like to use, or what kind of strategies you would like to use in order to make your students speaking fluently?
Okay, so I am going to use a school I worked in as an example. Like I said, I worked in a rural community, and when I started teaching in a school there, the children could not speak English. They could not speak English. They were speaking their local dialect. Now, when I got there, I had to get them to speak English. So we started from one phrase. What is your name? My name is. So we started from there. What is the name of your school? So those daily sentences they have to make use of. I want to eat. I want to go outside. I want to sit down. So we started from there. Now, something I did again was to play movies for them, especially cartoons. So I played cartoons for them. Though at first they could not understand what is being said, but since they get to hear it often, they pick up some words from them. Now, once you want a child to learn English, you try to surround that child with words. You try to surround, and you surround the child with words in an interesting way. A child who wants to learn English would find it boring if you are to teach that child in the normal way. So you have to be creative about it. Most times in that school, I take their learning outside. So we don't stay in the classroom. We go outside. I would have loved to send you pictures. I would have loved to send you pictures. So most times when we learn a new word, what I do is I ask them to take objects on the floor to form those words. So because they know they are going to form those words, they want to listen to what you're saying. And they're having brooms, they have stones, and they are creating, for example, if we learn the word dog, if we learn the word dog, we go outside and we try to make use of stones, try to make use of sticks to form the word dog. Another thing I did which helped them speak English was also outdoor learning. So what I did for their sentences is, for a child who is just learning to speak English, it is very difficult for that child to comprehend what you say. But when that child can see what he or she is to write, it becomes very easy to write it. So when we were learning sentences, what I did was for us to go outside. For example, if I have a book here, now that child can see that there is a book here. So I'll ask the child, you can see this book. So I want you to write, I can see a book. So it becomes very easy for that child to understand what you say, because when he looks at that place, he's seeing a book. So the child is writing, I can see a book. I can ask the child to say, I can see a house. So the child can see that house. It becomes very easy for that child to understand what it is you're to say. And whatever that child is seeing, whatever sentences they are making, it sticks. I was surprised. I had a child come to class that morning and he just made a sentence with a very big word. And I was shocked. I look at the child and I was like, really? Like, you actually learned this? So you just have to make and thank God for the internet. Thank God for the internet. We have teachers sharing what works for them. Like I said, no one is an island of knowledge. What works for me, something different might work for you. So there are lots of information. There are lots of information online. Someone like me, I go to YouTube every day. I check YouTube every day. I want to know, oh, what is this teacher doing that is working for him in the classroom? What is this teacher doing that is working for her in the classroom? Because like I said, I want to make sure the students in my classroom get the best of education. So I believe for a teacher that wants his or her students to learn English better, when you put in all these strategies, get them to learn simple phrase. My name is, I want to eat this. Get them to learn those simple sentences, and then encourage them to speak. Even though they are not saying it correctly, don't discourage them. However it is they are pronouncing it, encourage them. They said Rome was not built in a day. So definitely that child cannot learn to speak English in a month or 2 months. So you have to give that child time. You have to give that child time and encourage that child each and every step on the way. Thank you.
Yeah, I bet that your students love you so much because the way you teach your students all the subjects. So definitely they love your class, especially they love you as a teacher. So before we end this session, could you please give a final message to my students? But we would love to read your book because you are the author of the
I would
best book,
send,
and I would like to
I would
distribute
send
that
it.
book to some of the educators living in my region. Definitely they like it.
Okay, surely. I would send it. Thank you so much. I would send it.
Yeah. So could you please give a final message to my students?
Oh, okay. Let me look at their faces. Oh, hello, children. Hello, children. So, one message I would love to give you is that you are loved and you have an amazing teacher. Now, most people do not get this kind of education where they were growing up, but you are loved. You have an amazing teacher who believes in you. So just as your teacher believes in you, just as your parents have also sent you to school, I want you to also put in your best. I want you to put in your best. Like I said, the learning process might not be always easy. Sometimes your teacher will teach you something and you think it's really difficult. So don't feel bad. Just go back to your teacher and ask your teacher to explain. Ask the teachers to explain. So I want you to love learning. And also, do not limit your learning to your classroom. When you go home, learn something at home. When you go to your place of worship, I want you to learn something there. So wherever you find yourself, I want you to keep learning. And most importantly, learn how to use either a computer, a laptop, or phone. Like I said, we are in the age of technology. We are in the age of technology. So I want you to keep learning. Do not do not let anybody mock you. Do not let anybody mock you. I want you to believe in yourself. When you wake up in the morning, you tell yourself, I can do it. I can make it. I am beautiful. I am handsome. I am so proud of myself. And trust me, I'm looking at great children. I'm looking at presidents. I'm looking at doctors. I'm looking at pilots. I'm looking at sailors. I'm looking at dentists. I'm looking at great personalities, and I can't wait to meet you in future. I love you so much. Thank you for
So
having
much.
me.